The G20 summit in New Delhi will be a star-studded event featuring the likes of United States President Joe Biden, French President Emmanuel Macron, and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, all coming together on the same stage. However, the summit will not see a few familiar faces. Most notably, Chinese President Xi Jinping, who is skipping G20 for the first time since he came to power in 2013. Instead, Chinese Premier Li Qiang will attend the summit according to the country's foreign ministry. Now, this dilly-dallying over Xi's presence at the summit has been straining New Delhi for weeks, but experts will tell you that this is no casual affair. Let's understand why. G20 has always been an important pillar of Beijing's foreign policy, who have used it as a platform for the occasional strategic talks with Xi's counterparts. But let's be real. Relations between China and India are fraught. In 2020, violent clashes between their troops left at least 20 Indian soldiers dead, and control of the 2100-mile line of actual control continues to spur heated disagreement. However, Xi's absence could also be a snub to the host country and president of the G20 summit in 2023, India, or Bharat, amid almost deadlocked border dispute talks. Now, on 24th August, Xi and Modi held a very rare face-to-face dialogue on the sidelines of the BRICS summit in South Africa to discuss easing tensions along their shared border. Even during BRICS, Xi snubbed a business forum speech which featured the likes of PM Modi, Cyril Ramaphosa, and other leaders. However, officials on both sides signaled that hope was on the horizon after Xi and Modi agreed to hasten negotiations over their disputed land. But that was only till China released a new map on 28th August showing the Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh and the Aksai Chi Plateau as under Chinese sovereignty. While India has rubbished this absurd claim, Chinese officials on the other hand warned India not to overreact. Now, Xi's absence could also be a part of an apparent push to elevate other multilateral groups over those seen as more US dominated, given his preference for groups in which China is more dominant, such as the recently concluded BRICS summit, a bloc that the Chinese leader is pushing as an alternative to the Western-led groups such as G20 and G7. And missing the G20 is only continuing that strategy, and to push this narrative that while the West is falling, the East, like the sun, is rising. Speaking to the Quint, assistant professor at Jindal Law School, OP Jindal Global University, Gunjan Singh noted that Xi is not in a very strong position to come to India. Over and above the border disputes, with President Joe Biden also coming and US-China relations not stabilizing, it will be double jeopardy for Xi to attend. Another likely explanation could be just a simple act of bestie behavior, an act of solidarity with Russian President Vladimir Putin, who is also not attending the G20 summit, courtesy an International Criminal Court arrest warrant for war crime. But besides, the timing of the G20 is not viable for Xi, who is facing a severe slowdown in economic growth, making it a challenging time for China. Maybe he just wants to focus on matters at home. A G20 without Xi might not be all that bad for Modi's domestic politics, given that he has been criticized in the past by opposition parties for trying to cultivate a relationship with Xi only for it to backfire following the rise in border clashes. The dispute over the maps raises the questions of what, and if any, progress was made in August when the two leaders met on the sidelines of the BRICS summit. The countries said that they had discussed the border dispute. But without any actual progress in border talks, Xi's arrival in India would have meant normalizing relationships with him without making any sincere effort to resolve the border crisis. For more updates on the G20 summit, subscribe and keep watching the Quint and Quint Hindi.